Okay, Act 4, Scene 3. This is the longest scene in the entire play. It's the last scene of this act, so there's only 3 in this act. It's the longest scene of the play. It's the most boring scene in the play. It's 2 characters that we don't really know, we don't really care about, talking for pretty much the whole time. There's no Macbeth, there's no murdering, there's no sword fighting, there's no witches. It's just this. In the past, sometimes I don't teach this act. I say go read it on your own, but I'll do it for you. Okay, so as you can see, we are with Malcolm and Macduff. So if you don't remember who Malcolm is, that's the king's oldest son. He had fled to England. He's the one who should be the rightful king of Scotland. That's Malcolm. And Macduff, we just saw his whole family got killed, got murdered, got wiped out, and the witches had told Macbeth to be aware of him, or to fear him. So Macduff is in England. He caught up with Malcolm. Malcolm is looking to get reinforcements to go, borrow troops from the English king, go take his country back, and Macduff has come to aid him. So here we go. This is a ginormous scene. And here we go.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty. Let us...
Desolate shade, let's go in the shade and weep our sad bosoms empty. Let's cry our hearts out.
Rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfallen birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dull.
So no, we don't have time to wait, because each new morn, widows howl, meaning husbands are killed, orphans cry, fathers get killed. It's so bad, it's like striking heaven on the face. Resounds and felt Scotland yelled out like a syllable of dolorous pain. Scotland is suffering. We can't wait. We can't take our time to cry.
Believe I'll wail. What know, believe, and what I can redress as I shall find the time to friend, I will.
I'll cry if I want to. You know, I'm higher up than you.
What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
Okay, so this is interesting here. So first he said this tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongue, which is, of course, same line as in Romeo and Juliet. Of course, an exaggeration means we don't like saying it. Was once thought honest. So what he's doing, he's trying to test Macduff to see what Macduff's motivations are. He was once honest, just like you're being honest now. You have loved him well in the past, that was known. He hath not touched you yet, meaning he hasn't done anything negative to you. Like, this has been good for you, Macduff. I'm young, yeah, but you may deserve of him through me. You may get a promotion of him through me to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb. I'm the poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god, and he's the angry god. Hey, you might be here as like a double agent. Then Macduff says,
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge. But I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
Okay. Well, Macduff says, I'm not treacherous. Yeah, but Macbeth is. He'll do anything. And good and virtuous nature may recoil in the imperial charge. A good person, when tempted by power, will be bad. Then that imperial charge, Macbeth says earlier in the play, the imperial theme. And that's what it did to him. But I'll crave your pardon now. I'll ask your forgiveness. And then he has an illusion. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. No matter how good you are, you can still fall. Macbeth was one of the most noble, and he fell. All things foul would wear the brow of grace. The brow of grace, that's the crown. Oh, foul, where did we see that? Fair is foul and foul is fair. Oh, the king has become foul. Oh, so like these echoing of these things that had happened earlier in the play.
I've lost my hopes. Perchance even there where I did find my doubts.
That's the syntax. I did find my doubts there.
Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking.
So, hey, let me ask you a question. Why'd you leave your wife and kids? You didn't take their leave, you just poof, disappeared. Now, this is a dramatic irony moment. Dramatic irony is when we know things the characters don't know, therefore what's going on is different for us than it is for them. We know that his family's just been slaughtered, like Godfather style. But they don't know this, so this is like almost a cruel joke.
I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Hey, I'm doing this for my own safety. You might be right, you might be just, but I need to question you, because I could be dead. So I guess he's hinting at, hey, you left your family unguarded. Does that mean they're safe because there's an arrangement? Then Macbeth says,
Bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure. For goodness dare not check thee, where thou thy wrongs. The title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou think'st for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp on the rich east to boot.
Okay. So now he takes offense that, how dare you accuse me of being like disloyal to the real king? And then there's at least 3 different syntaxes here. Lay thou thy basis sure. Lay you your basis. Sure, you're doing it surely. Wear thou thy wrongs. Wear you your wrongs. You're wearing your wrongs. Fare thee well. Fare you well. You, farewell. So, like, all right, how dare you think I would want all of this? I would not be treacherous. I would not be a villain, a bad person. For the whole space in the tyrant's grasp, to be king myself, and the rich in the east to boot. That's a cliche to boot, in addition to. Not even all the riches in the east, which to them is almost a fairy tale. They just know there's riches in the east.
Not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each day a new gash is added to her wounds.
So yeah, it's not that I'm afraid of you. And then some nice personification. Our country sinks beneath the yoke. The yoke is that thing, oxen, which is plural of oxes, or plural of ox, they wear around their neck to pull a cart. It's like a mark of slavery, of servitude. It's beneath the yoke. It's enslaved. It weeps, it bleeds, and each day a new gash is added to her wound. A gash is like a cut. Every day it's injured.
I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and
there'd be a revolution if I showed up.
Here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands.
Yeah, thousands of soldiers have been pledged to me from the English king.
But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer, and more sundry ways than ever, by him that shall succeed.
So when I win, my country shall have more vices than it had before. You thought you saw evil? You're going to see evil now. Then Macduff says,
Should he be? It is myself I mean. in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that, when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms.
Oh, you thought Macbeth was bad? Well, when I'm king, I'm gonna have crazy vices. And when my vices are opened, Black Macbeth, now that's not a race thing, just black means evil, like Black Knight, black magic. Black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow. Oh, you thought he's evil? He's gonna look nice compared to me. You'll think him like a lamb. Yeah.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned than evils to top Macbeth.
You can't top Macbeth. We still say that kind of phrase. Yeah, you can do that.
Grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. And my desire all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such an one to reign.
All right, so we need to talk about a whole bunch of things here. So first, there's a little bit of propaganda. This is a scene that Macbeth's audience would have liked more than we like it. There's just two people talking. This is about being a king and being a good king and being a bad king. King James I, who in part Macbeth wrote this as propaganda for, or Shakespeare wrote this as propaganda for. He wrote like books about being king, like what makes a good king, and this list of stuff is the same list of stuff that was in this is what's not a good king. So Macbeth is kind of telling the current king, hey, I read your book. Now, the scene is to show what makes a good and what makes a bad king, which mattered to them. There's two ways to read this scene, the more common and the less common. The more common is that Malcolm is testing Macduff by saying, look how terrible I'll be. Are you still going to back me? Or will you back a bad king? Or the opposite, where he's like, no, I have all these evil plans that he will... like he's telling what's truthfully in his heart. That's the less read way. So let's read these set of lines from him. Well, he's bloody, but I'm luxurious, avarice. He's all these things: bloody, luxurious, avarice, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, blah blah blah. But there's no bottom to my voluptuousness. Well, I have huge sexual desires. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. Cistern is like a vase or something. Yeah, you couldn't. All the women in Scotland couldn't fill up my desires. Better Macbeth should reign than me. Yeah, I would be a terrible tyrant. And then Macduff says,
boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings.
Well, yeah, this intemperance, you're not being able to control your desires, has been the downfall of many kings. It's not a good thing. But
fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink.
Hey, you know what? You need to take what's yours, though. And you know what? You might have these pleasures now, but they might not be there later.
We have willing dames enough.
And plus, there are plenty of girls that are willing to sleep with a king. You know, it's like pretty much everyone.
There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
Yeah, well, you're not really like that anyway. And then Malcolm?
This there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
Oh, you think that's bad? Well, I have avarice, I have greed. Were I king, if I were the king, so syntax, I would cut the nobles from their land. I would steal all the land from the nobles, like so the Thanes all own land. His jewels, and then he relates that to like a sauce, like for food. He has a sauce to make me hungrier more. Oh, and that money would make me more hungry. I shall forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal. Like I would oppress and wage war against my own subjects, destroying them for wealth, and I would steal everything from them. Oh, and I just lost it. Sorry about that. Yeah. And here we go. And Macduff says,
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable with other graces weighed. But
okay, well, you know what? That's a really bad trait. It's been the sword of our slain kings. A lot of our former kings did this too, and they got killed. Scotland has foisons. Hey, it has money. Don't worry. These are portable. These are not that big of a deal with other graces weighed. Well, you know what? You might be bad in this aspect, but you're still better on an average than Romeo and Juliet. Not Romeo and Juliet. Macbeth. And then Malcolm says,
I have none.
I have none good traits. I don't have any good traits.
The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways.
So all these good traits, which was in the same list that was in like the King James book that came from before, the negative list, I don't have any of these. And all my several crimes, the negative parts of me, I act them in many ways.
Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Well, actually, if I had the power, if I were king, I would wage war with the whole world. I would make chaos of everything. And now Macduff has had enough. That rhymed. I didn't mean it, but it happened.
Scotland.
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
I am as I have spoken. Yeah, this is the exact way I am. Take it or leave it. And then, like I said, Macduff has had enough.
Fit to govern? No, not to live! Oh, nation miserable! With an untitled tyrant bloody sceptre. When shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed.
Okay, so the acting makes it seem as though like Macduff is like grabbing Malcolm like by his shirt or by his neck and just like lightly assaulting him. You're not fit to govern? No, you're not even fit to live. Our nation is miserable. We need someone to bring back wholesome days. You blaspheme. You're someone that blasphemes his breed. Your breed, the noble breed, like your royalty. You blaspheme against it. You're speaking against your nature. It's like that divine right of kings plus the great chain of being.
Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived.
So your father was like a saint, which Macbeth had said something like that earlier. Your queen, more upon her knees than on her feet, prayed so often. Died every day is like a way of saying, like, pray, absolve your sins, so if you were to die, you could go to heaven. She died every day.
Fare thee well.
Another syntax.
These evils thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
All right, my hope ends here. I'm done. It's over. It's either you or Macbeth. I can't make that pick. Everything is lost. And now, Malcolm has a long rebuttal.
This noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honour.
So, This noble passion hath from my soul, has from my soul, probably from my soul has, so syntax, wiped the black scruples. You've wiped, this interaction has wiped all the blackness from my soul, the evilness from my soul. It's kind of like, I saw the light, I saw the light. Kind of like that in a church. So there's two ways to read this, like I said. Malcolm was always playing to test Macduff to see if Macduff was, oh, are you going to just support whoever gives you power, or are you a spy, or are you going to only support good kings? Or that Malcolm went into some sort of rage and Malcolm has gone into some sort of rage and Macduff has saved him from it.
Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste. But
so yeah, devilish Macbeth has sought to win me into his power. Macbeth has tried to trick me too.
God above deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature.
So, I'm sorry. I'm kind of giving up some power or freedom to you. These things that I laid upon myself, that I just said, all the negative things I have, the greed and the voluptuousness and the liking of women, are strangers to my nature. They're not in my nature. Like, I was lying.
I am yet unknown to woman.
Okay, that's slightly funny, I guess. Hey, you don't believe me? I am yet unknown to woman. Now, that doesn't mean he's never met a woman. It means he's a virgin. I'm even a virgin. I can't be all these things. I'm a virgin.
Never was forsworn. Scarcely have coveted what was mine own. At no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life.
And here's all my traits, all good ones. The one I think is interesting, or I like the words. I would not betray the devil to his fellow. I wouldn't even betray the devil, because I don't betray anyone.
My first false speaking was this upon myself.
So that's the line right there that some people think makes it, oh, he was like in a fever motion, a moment. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I just said to you in this conversation was my first time ever lying. Now, that's probably not true, but what it probably means, like, this lying of character. It was probably my first time. Like, I got caught up in, I'll be the king and I'll be the big dude now.
What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command.
In fact, it's my subjects that need to command me. That's the job of a king. A king is I actually once heard someone say this, a good leader is a servant of the people. In theory, yeah, but in practice, well.
Whether indeed, before thy here approach, old Seaward, with 10,000 warlike men already at a point, was setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
And by the way, old Seaward, who's a general in England, has given us 10,000 men as reinforcements. Chance of goodness, good chances be like in our warlike, warranted quarrel, our fight, our war. Why are you silent? Hey, can't you say something?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile.
I'm actually not quite sure what to think. There's like this change of emotion. I don't know what to feel anymore. Should I trust you? Should I not trust you? Are you lying? Are you lying about lying? Are you whatever? And then a doctor enters.
My lord?
Well, more anon. Comes the king forth, I pray you.
Comes the king forth, there's a syntax. The king comes forth, I pray you, I beg you. The king of England. Remember, they're at the English court.
Aye, sir. There are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great assay of art, but at his touch, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand, they presently amend.
I thank you, doctor.
Okay, so why is this here? the king is with wretched souls. He has the cure to their illness. People that are physically ill, and he can heal them with a touch, literally. Greatest say of art, of skill, but his touch, they presently amend. His touch amends them. So a little bit of a syntax there. So this is King Edward the Confessor of England, just a history thing. This is the only king of England that became a saint. So supposedly he could heal people by touching them, or heal certain things by touching them, and he had magical healing powers. So why are they going to bring this up? So here's a king that heals people. They want Malcolm to be the king that heals the land by touching it, by bringing his touch to it.
Disease, he means.
'Tis called the evil. A most miraculous work in this good king, which often, since my here remain in England, I have seen him do.
And I've often seen him do it. I've seen him heal them.
How he solicits heaven himself best knows, but strangely visited people, all swollen and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery he cures.
So, how he solicits heaven, how he borrows that skill from heaven, I don't know. But people are swollen and ulcerous, and he cures them without surgery.
Hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers. And 'tis spoken, to the succeeding royalty, he leaves the healing benediction.
And the healing is permanent.
With this strange virtue he hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
And he can see prophecy. So this is, the witches are bad magic. This is good magic. This comes from heaven. It's healing. It's about saving people. Even though he has, he hath heavenly gift of prophecy, he's not using it to ruin people's lives. Okay. And then you see, enter Ross. When was the last time we saw Ross? Right before the Macduffs got wiped out.
See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin. Welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Amen.
Stands Scotland where it did.
There's a syntax, stand Scotland where it did. Does Scotland stand where it did, meaning are things normal, like the Macbeth is the king, he's a murderer, whatever.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen.